for the November 15th monthly meeting. And at this time, I would like for you all to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Hill, is there any additions to this agenda?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Has the board got the minutes for the work session and the board meeting on October 25th?
We have,
Any questions or comments?
no.
Chair will now entertain a motion to approve the agenda, the consent agenda with the minutes and the work session and the board meeting in October also.
I make the motion that we approve the consent agenda with the agenda and the minutes from the work session and board meeting in October.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor? Unanimous. Next item on this agenda is awards and recognitions. 2023 UCS District Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Setzer.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We are very excited to be able to announce our 2023-24 District Teacher of the Year. And to help me with this, I'm going to ask Miss Debbie Decubels to come forward and say a few things about our Teacher of the Year.
It is my honor to come before you to announce our 23-24 Teacher of the Year. Every student deserves a champion. Every teacher deserves a champion, and every school deserves to have great champions. The primary school and Union County are blessed to have Miss Jensen Goddard. She is the 23-24 Union County Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Next item on our agenda is Union County Middle School football team. Coach Perry. Ms. Thompson.
So we're here tonight to honor a great group of young men and coaches. Football is so unique from other sports. All sports are great, but the difference about football is you play once a week. So you're practicing a lot more than you are playing games because you're only playing once a week, like I said. These guys have worked their tails off. They started back in last April, spring football practice. All summer, they were working out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. I remember I came here 2 years ago, and they had like 18 guys on their roster. Now they're up to over 40. I can't brag enough on Coach Setzer and his staff. Not only are these guys champions on the field, but these guys are being taught how a man should conduct himself in all areas of his life. And that's a direct testament to Coach Setzer and his staff. At this time, I'd like to call up his coaches and honor them. Coach Setzer. James Avery. Thank you, sir. Hang on, James. Thank you, man. Gabe Miller. Congratulations, Gabe. Zach Odom. Congratulations, Zach. Ryan Pierce. Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
Parker Daniel is driving a bus, I believe, tonight, so make sure he's in for me. And then Levi Kendrick. Congratulations, Levi. And I think at this time, Coach Sesser, you gonna?
Coach Miller is gonna.
Okay.
Coach Miller, we're gonna recognize some of our players that are here. We're gonna call the names of all of our players who are on the roster, and then we'll recognize the ones that are here.
Brandon Lynch. He's coming. Isaac Milam. Jaden Lee. Hudson Collins. Landon Bell. Shetley Cox, quarterback. Sir Zion Thompson. Parker Deal. Bentley Rich. Hayes Burnett. Camden Kendrick. Sean Rosen. Mikey Davis. Maddox Baltzel. Dylan Birnbaum. I wish we could just had the 18 right now. Corbin Combs. Grant Smith. Paxton Leggett. Robert Thompson. Kevin Kilpatrick. Jonathan Duncan. Hunter Brown. Michael Wallace. Preston Banton. Kyler Jaraka. Caden Miller. Eli Milam. Easton Shoemaker. Daniel Wrench. Zach Weaver. Arthur Galindo. Adam Ellis. Connor Stanford. Gunnar Franklin. Alan Godinez. Jackson Tellerow. Alan Gonzalez. Cade Owens. Sam Quillian. Jasper Kelly. Evan Helbert. Jax Dillinger.
Congratulations.
Braden Toller. We had two great managers in Kyla Hempel and Chloe Bartram.
Bro, Brandon's mom's supposed to take your picture.
Moving along to the next item on our agenda is the principal's update. Mr. Hill?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Murphy, are we ready to get our PowerPoint? Ready to go? All right, so we'll start out with Union County High School, if that's okay. I hope everybody can see the screen. As you can see, we got a lot to celebrate. This middle school team won the championship, and that is such a big accomplishment. We're so proud of these kids and the coaches. Appreciate all they've done for our school.
I wouldn't look like it.
No.
So, we have a lot that's happened in the last 3.5 years. It's been pretty busy, and when you take a second to go up to the 30,000-foot view and just look at everything that's kind of happened, I will tell you that I think that this has probably been, this is 10 years for me, an administrator at the high school, and probably had a stretch in the spring in 2017 that was about this good all the way around. That this might take it. It might be the best little stretch we've had in a decade. So going back a few weeks, our softball team won the Region 8 AA and hosted and also won the Super Regionals and qualified for Carrollton. That was pretty awesome. Our volleyball team made it to the GHSA Sweet 16, was one of the top 2 public schools in AA, so that was awesome. We actually hosted the Fine Arts Center. All of the region came up and was an all-day event. The one-act play, the Region 1-act play, and ours did an unbelievable job. They actually got standing ovations from all the private schools that were out there. The guy on the left there, Ethan, he got the best overall actor, and we also had the best supporting actor. And I mean, it was really a great thing. They were like signing autographs. They're going to be really talented. I mean, they're going to be something big on down the road, I think. If you saw last night, how many of y'all made it to the musical? Anybody make it? It was very good, wasn't it? It was awesome. They're talented. Also, that came out, last year's graduating class had a 99.1% graduation rate, which we talked about last week, was the 4th highest in the state of Georgia of all the schools. So that was exciting. It was actually the 3rd highest public school as well. And those are some pictures that my vantage point at graduation there. The fall chorus concert, I don't think you can see in the middle picture, but I was sitting at the very, very top there, and it was totally packed. A lot of kids on stage. They sang 6 songs in 6 different languages, which was amazing. Trunk or treat, if you came to that, we then had our trunk or treat that weekend on Saturday. It was a big community event, and it's something that made me realize that what our school system is the hub of the community. I mean, you know, I've known that, but I mean, as you go through and you're at all these events and you see all the people and the amount of people that come and have a good time and what it really means to attend these events, you know, we're there for our kids, and that's not just during the school day. We had over 40 colleges come to our annual college pro fair. A lot of times people were like, what is a pro fair? But that's when the colleges come and recruit our kids. They came from Mississippi State, they came from Georgia, Alabama, our local colleges, Young Harris, North Georgia Tech were all there, came from South Georgia. They drove a long ways to get to our Fine Arts Center and set up and recruit our kids, which was good. We do it every year. This was a huge event, was the College and Career Academy ribbon cutting. And we had several, state representatives there. The state school superintendent was there. We had local politicians there. Several of our board members were there, and it was a really good event, and very proud. And I wanted to take just a second to make sure everybody understands that, you know, as principal, you get the front seat on all this stuff, but you're not necessarily the driver. Okay, the driver of all these things are, Mandy Hunter, the athletic director, Josh Davis, the CTA director that you see cutting that ribbon right there, Art McCann, who set up and made the Veterans Day program happen, Emily Cobb, who does all of our student events and stuff like that, from the parade all the way to all the dances and everything, our coaches, our sponsors, our maintenance, our custodians, it's all the way across the board. Technology, it doesn't just magically happen, and it takes a team to be able to do that. Our cross-country team finished as the top public school, and the girls did in AA, and I think they were very young, so it'll be fun to watch them come along. I climbed up in the catbird seat at the primary school gym up there. Some of y'all remember that, and took a couple cool pictures up there. But the kids had a good time. We're kind of outgrowing that, Miss Debbie. We're looking at close to 1,000 kids next year, no doubt, just from straight graduation and what's coming up. So we might have to find another venue. If you were able to attend the Veterans Day ceremony, Yet again, I mean, I think it was one of the best ones that we've done. We were indoors because of all the rain on Friday, but I think it was still a great event. If you haven't attended, why don't try to come to that because it's a really good event. I mean, we serve them, all the veterans breakfast. They're treated like kings and queens, transported up to the Fine Arts Center, where probably the best 45-minute presentation you could imagine. Our band, chorus, theater, our kids lead it. And it's a good tribute. On the left there, you'll see that's the quilt of valor that's given to selected veterans in the area, and that place was packed as well. Then we left that evening and went to the football game. We went to Model and played in the first round of the state GHSA state tournament. It was a hard-hitting game. Coach, you did a great job. You and your staff and all the kids, and came out on top. Like I said, it was pretty hard hitting. But also, you see in the center, we had a very large flag that was out in honor of Veterans Day, and that was at our place on our last home game there. And then, of course, Beauty and the Beast, which again went so the football game was Friday. We had Saturday, Sunday, Monday was the musicals, and I went to the third one. I've learned to go to the third one because it's usually the most practiced and polished. So it was packed though on a Monday night, which was great. And they do a good job. We're very talented in that area right now, in fine arts. Again, I'll come back to that, but it was good. And then that Saturday, this past Saturday, we had our wrestlers did a great job. They're kicking their seasons off. We had a scrimmage in basketball, and we played tomorrow night at North Hall. So we're kind of in that crossover section of when fall sports, if you're still good enough, are still playing, and the winter sports have started. So we're right there. And then right now, this is one of the parts that I'm really excited about going over, and it was neat because our alumni are nominated for a Pace Setter Award. We've been doing this for about 4 years, and the Pace Setter Award, it's graduates that have graduated in the last decade. 2010 to 2020, we usually don't really have freshmen and sophomores in college or just out in the workforce. But I wanted to just take a second because it was really neat because we got a pretty cool little list of nominees here, and it was neat for me to see these kids all came through. They came through our school. They came through our primary school, elementary, middle, high school, Woody Gap. I mean, they were there. And so I'm going to read off some things here of some of our graduate successes. We have a floor manager at Corrugated that was nominated, a chiropractor. And these kids just literally graduated in the last decade to 5 years ago. We have a computer scientist with Blue Ridge Mountain EMC. We have 2 construction managers. We have a Delta pilot, just got his Delta license. He'll be flying everybody around. And he graduated, he flew his prom date, he flew her to Atlanta and back. It was pretty cool. So I knew it was something special. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 engineers. We have one at Lockheed Martin. We have a district, one working at the noted district attorney's office. We have one hired by Facebook in marketing. We have 1, 2, 3, and these are only just nominated. I'm sure there's more. Three lawyers. We have a Microsoft engineer. We have an optometrist. We have 2 pharmacists. We have 2 physical therapists. We have a physician. We have 2 Questbridge scholars, which if you know what that is, it's pretty amazing. If you don't, Google it because it's pretty good. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're gonna like this. 6 RNs on the list, and I'm sure there's many more. 2 surgeons, 1 from Princeton that graduated, and a veterinarian, 2 from West Point, which there were 11. There were 11 total appointments that year. 11 total appointments in the state of Georgia, and 2 of them were from Union County to West Point. We have 2 at the Air Force Academy. 1 just graduated, one's almost done. The pilot that you see up on the upper right-hand corner right there is T. Bentley, Solly Bentley, and he's flying for the Air Force Academy, or the Air Force right now, and graduated. We have 2 with the Coast Guard Academy, and 1, Brendan Bowman, who's by the orange helicopter right there. He also got accepted. There were 1,200 applications into their coding program, and 30 were accepted, and he was accepted from Union County. We have owner of King's Custom Body Shop locally, owner of Mountain City Metalworks, owner operator of the hair shop. And I taught that kid, and she's already bought a business and owns it, and it's pretty amazing. And has employees. Owner of the Neve Hair Salon. 4 police officers were nominated, 5 out of the armed forces, and 2 members of the Red Coat Marching Band for UGA. So, I mean, I just think it's pretty amazing when you look at all the things that our graduates, I'm sure there's way more than that, but these are just the ones that have come out since, you know, it's pretty cool to see the whole picture, you know, and then look on down the road. So that's our update. Ms. Pat?
Sir?
Well, I usually always dread following Mr. Hushin because he does such a great job, but this makes me very, very proud to, you know, to hear, all of, you know, what our children wind up doing and to feel like we're a part of that in some form or fashion. And, you know, just to know that from my school on down to, the elementary, primary, and Woody Gap, that we help build those foundations for those kids. And I'm very proud to be able to send them on to the next level, to the high school, because I know they do a great job with them, and just to see the results of everything that we've all put for these kids is amazing. So to kind of give y'all an update on what Union County Middle School has been up to the last few months is we have really been trying to focus a lot with helping our 8th graders get prepared when they transition to the high school. And so we had taken a hard look this past year of looking at ways that we could help them do that. And we've always gone and done like a pathway tour with the CTAE department. And then, but we wanted to add a few more things in this year. And so we took our entire 8th grade class over to North Georgia Technical College, and they did a great job of giving them an insight into all the different areas that the kids might want to get into. Talked to them about what jobs were available in each of those areas, gave them even like some pay scales of things to look at, and you know what the job market looked like in our area. So the North Georgia Tech, I can't say enough of great things about them. Our kids enjoyed that so very much, and so that was some really good opportunities for them to get some more ideas into things. And then we were able to take a group of 8th graders that this was a choice trip, and so a lot of these kids raised money to be able to go on it, and we were able to take them on a tour around Georgia during fall break. And so they had a great time. We're looking forward to hopefully being able to go back next year. But we went to Savannah, and we went to Tybee Island. We got to go out with an actual marine biologist on the ocean, on the beach there, and you know, we searched for starfish and other things. We went to the Okefenokee Swamp. We went and toured the little lighthouse in Warm Springs. So the kids had a lot of adventures, and I'll have to say it was my first time being able to see all of those places too, so I really enjoyed it as well. And you know, so saw all those alligators. There was a ton of those, and it was just a great opportunity. We had kids that we took on that trip who had never even seen the ocean before, and so that was amazing to get to have that experience with them when they had that opportunity. So we had a great showing with our fall sports. Our softball team came in 2nd place with the regional, and then our our cross country team did a really good job, and we had our opening year for our volleyball team, and so they did an amazing job. They really grew a lot over the season, and really enjoyed being able to watch them this year. And then, of course, we just got to celebrate our Mountain League football champions, and they did a phenomenal job. It was great to see them be able to have that success. Our art department received a grant this past spring, and we were able to buy a kiln, and so the kids have been really busy at making some different pottery in that kiln, and they were excited to get to fire that thing up. We've done trying to do some community things with our kids. Miss Massey took
groups of students over to the primary and elementary school, and they did expressive reading, using their theatrical talents, in some of the classrooms, so they really enjoyed doing that. And then our phenomenal Panthers, they were busy learning some life skills, and, they are making, lunch once a month for, some of our staff if they wanna participate in that, and then they, every couple of weeks, they will have like a little coffee sales and go around, and this really is an encouragement to those kids, they enjoy it so much. And then our winter sports have of course kicked off, and then we have our basketball and wrestling and our swim teams, and they are going strong. A lot of our football, players were actually at wrestling this afternoon, so. And then we also were invited to help perform at the Veterans Day ceremony. Both our middle school band and our chorus students performed with the high school. And we are very happy to say we had one of our staff that was honored with one of the Quilts of Valor. So we're very happy to celebrate that with her. And then our new construction class is just going great. These kids are absolutely loving having that opportunity to get that high school credit in. And Mr. Dyer's doing a great job with those students. And then we also had the CTA Pathway Tour, and I think, hopefully some of y'all were able to see that and participate in it. But we had numerous businesses come from the community, and then we also had students from the high school representing each of the pathways that came in and talked to our 8th graders about each of those areas. And so that was absolutely phenomenal. We had a great response from all of our 8th graders. We sent out some surveys and asked, got their input on how they enjoyed it, and it was overwhelmingly that they had loved it and that they learned so much from it. So we were very happy to provide that opportunity. We had a lot of kids that didn't even know that some of those areas existed within our own community. So just looking forward to being able to send them on to high school with just a little bit more knowledge of what their interests might be. And that wraps me up.
Thank you, Pat.
So Mr. Rivera is a leadership development training and asked Ms. Dyer and myself to present on his behalf. One of the things before I start that's really unique, you've heard people say this, but in our community is the crossover events between the schools. You don't see that everywhere. And that's one of the things I love, whether it be our students involved in trunk or treat or Pat students coming to read to us, and there's some good character things, but that's really unique and special about our community as well. So at the elementary, one of the things we were able to do is STEAM night. And we had about 500 students and about 1,500 guests join us. And parents and students came in to do, there were 17 different stations. And these were science experiments, technology, engineering, construction, art projects, and mathematics. And the families traveled through at their own pace through all the stations that they wanted to do. And it was just a really great family involvement opportunity. We're very lucky to have Becky Dyer coordinate these events for us because it's special for the families, and the kids absolutely love it. This is one of our more popular events we were able to hold. All 3 of our grade levels were able to do hands-on ecology units at either Vogel State Park or Smithgall Woods. 3rd grade went to Vogel State Park, where they caught native organisms and examined them. They learned about bear safety, and they also learned how to prepare for a hike and what to do if they are lost in the woods. Our 4th and 5th grade went to the Smithgall Woods presentation. They had different stations there as well. They had archery, they did stream ecology, where they looked at organisms under microscopes. They had one station called orienteering, where they use a compass to find different locations. And they also did a scavenger hunt about our local ecosystem. Again, field trips are still one of the favorites. Our students very much appreciate it, and they enjoy those times together. 4th and 5th grade completed their 4-H CPA research projects. These projects were over a self-selected topic. In preparation for this event, Mr. Jennings held a resource meeting for our parents, and about 50 people showed up. After that point, after the kids got ready, they presented in the classroom, and there's judges from outside. One of the groups that comes in, some students from the high school and different outside community members come in and judge the competition. Then the top 2 boys and girls from each of the classrooms go on to compete at district. Our district competition is this upcoming weekend, but historically, we have at the elementary school about 130 students compete. They're competing against Pickens, Gilmer, Fannin, Towns, Raven, White, Lumpkin, and Dawson counties. At least about 90 to 95% of our students place first, second, or third. We have the largest participation rate out of all the districts. We have the highest percentage of winners, and we have the highest number of winners. So that is really a great opportunity for our kids to not only research, but also to develop those speaking skills in public as well. So our kids do an absolutely phenomenal job on that.
So recently, well, throughout the school year, our students are learning to be civic leaders. Our own Army veteran, Don Brookshire, has trained a group of 5th grade student leaders as our flag patrol, and they raise and lower and care for our flags every day, and they watch the weather. If it's raining, they're out there taking down the flag. So they're learning a lot of leadership skills and respect. They have to cooperate together and really use their time wisely, pay attention. And on Veterans Day, a lot of our students chose to dress up in patriotic attire to support our veterans, and many classes wrote cards and letters for our veterans. And we were able to watch the live stream ceremony, which was wonderful. If you have not watched it, again, like everyone has said, please do watch. It's an amazing, amazing ceremony. And then in honor of Anti-Bullying Month last month, our media specialist, Mrs. Deaver, held an anti-bullying poster contest. And so one of our winners is featured there with her Be Kind poster. And then one of our favorite days of the year is Book Character Day, where we dress up in our favorite book characters. And we had probably about 90% of our students participate in dressing up, and we all participated in a parade to the primary school where we got to cheer on our littlest learners and share our love of reading with them, and them with us, because they were so cute. And then of course we paraded around our own school when we got back, and it's just great fun to share our love of learning and reading together. And finally, in the spirit of success for all, we were also able to honor some of our athletics. Our 5th grade football team made it, and cheerleaders made it to the state playoffs. And then our cheerleading team won the state rec. They placed first place in the rec cheer bowl, and they were able to perform for our students after their win. So we're really proud of all the learning our students are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I'm excited to be here to talk about the primary school. First, we want to say thank you to the board. We want to say thank you to the superintendent and to the voters of Union County for East Wast. Our school was renovated over the summer, and it is amazing. Not only for our staff, but also for our students. It's just wonderful, and we are so appreciative. Here we'll see the Media Center, and for us, the Media Center is the hub of our school. But the neatest part about the renovation is our Media Center now is for our Panther Cubs. It is truly their size. The books are at their level, the furniture is made for them, and they love it. And for those of you who know the Clifford House, it is still there, and it is used every day. Unless you've been to the primary school, you don't understand how important the Clifford House is. Now, I also have to tell you that our parent pickup, the new renovated area, is amazing. We run approximately 700 vehicles through our parent drop-off every morning. It starts promptly at 7, and we end as close to 7:50 as possible. We keep everyone safe and get them in class as quickly as possible. It is amazing. And we now have 4 lanes in our buses in the afternoon. Not only is it safer, but it is very efficient. And if you know our little people, they have little legs, but we are able to load all of our buses and move them in 5 to 6 minutes. So we are doing very well, but the 4 lanes is awesome. The next one here is I do want to say that we are instilling public safety and the need for service above self with all of our little people. We've been blessed to have the state troopers. We have been blessed to have the fire department come out and share safety techniques with our students, but just to promote that they are safe people and people that they can go to if they need a safe adult. We were blessed to have Air Life come and visit us. Chief Deaton was able to secure this for us, and all of our students got to watch the helicopter land. It was amazing. The best part was our second graders got to stay and talk with the crew. I do believe we'll have some future pilots among us, but also they asked some of the best questions. In fact, one of the questions they asked was if they kept anti-venom on the helicopter. For a second grader to ask that, that was impressive. We are so thankful that field trips are back going again. Our kindergartners were able to go to the Georgia Mountain Research and Education Center and see Johnny Appleseed. Our first graders were able to go to the creamery. They were able to taste fresh milk, but their favorite was the chocolate ice cream. Our second graders just got back from being able to go to Young Harris College and go to the Rollins Planetarium. We have many of our students coming back today, and they were looking for books on space. I do believe they are hooked. One of the things that I say about the primary school is we love to have fun, but we do it through literacy. One of the most special days was the 50th day of school. We were able to celebrate with a sock hop, great music, but the children learned so much. One of the things that we have instilled this year is being positive, and we are working very hard on positive referrals. And in fact, we call them happy grams. Children are referred to us, and we get to brag on them. They get to get in our treasure box, but most importantly, we get to call parents. It's a way for us to build those positive relationships, but to thank our kiddos for being great citizens. We are so happy that our birthday celebrations are back. At the end of each month, we are able to celebrate all of our kiddos and their birthdays for that month. We get a special piece of cake, and we get to sing happy birthday. The next piece here was we were blessed. For those of you who know about pre-K, there's always a pre-K week, and we rolled out the red carpet. But this year, we had a hoedown, and we were very blessed to have State Representative Stan Gunner come and kick off our event by reading to our pre-K students. We got to cap off the week with our superintendent, the assistant superintendents, and of course the Panther coming and reading to all of our pre-K students. It was an amazing week. Thanksgiving lunches. We cannot say enough about our cafeteria staff. We had approximately 1,300 slips returned that were going to join us. These are parents and guests for the 4 days of our Thanksgiving lunches. We have completed pre-K and kindergarten with over 500 guests. Tomorrow we will have first grade, and then on Thursday we will have second grade. We also were blessed to have a big turkey with a great photo op, and our kids and our parents are loving it. But the writing there in the center, do you see that over to the side? We love our teachers, and we certainly do. Now this one, we wanted to remind everyone, safety first. Relationships are so important, and we hold high expectations for all. But the neatest thing, between all of our staff members, we have over 1,700 years of experience. So we are truly blessed and so thankful.
Thank you.
To start off with Woody Gap, one of the things we brought back last year was the Woody Gap Dispatch, our newspaper. So over the course of the year, our students have written different articles, and it first started with just our high school students. Well, this year, Miss McDonald, who is our journalism teacher, wrote a grant and with Dollar General and received $3,000, and that is all being used to keep the newspaper running and to support all of the different aspects with it. One of the things she has also done this year is she has brought in all of the different age groups to write stories and write articles. And so they will write it, and she will put their actual article. So we have kindergartners writing these stories about their dog or about the weather, and then she actually puts that in, and then also does a little bit of interpretation for everybody.
So, you see in the two pictures to the middle one and the one to the right, that's where we actually, when the newspaper comes and our high schoolers just run out to meet the UPS. I mean, they love it when they know it's coming, they come to get it. And then they actually take a copy of the newspaper to each of the kids who have articles in it. And they present those, younger children with a paper for them to be able to take home that day. So it's great in putting all of our grade levels together. Our kindergarten and first grade got to go to the Johnny Appleseed, and it's great to see them all together, but then you see also on the left how there is learning involved. So it's not just a field trip about them getting to go somewhere. There is education involved. And one of our little kindergartners on the right, they're picking apples, and so when they came back, one of the things that I asked them was, what did you learn? And they were telling me how apples grew and when they grew and when they could pick them. So it's amazing to watch those little minds and to see what all they learn, just by going to one of those field trips. Also, during Constitution Week, history came alive for Woody Gap. We brought in a lady who presented to our 4th and 5th graders. And then she also presented to our high school civics and U.S. history students. And so they got to learn, and she had different boards and different research and the kids were great. They asked questions about different periods of history and with her outfit and what it all meant. So it was great to see it all come alive. Also our Indian Summer Festival, which is always the first full weekend in October. There on the left was some of our volunteers who served barbecue and came. I mean, it's a community event. So, I mean, it's people from the community that come in and they help in the barbecue booths, they help in the teacher's booth, they help throughout the whole Indian Summer Festival. And so there in the middle is our all of our elementary school students. They do a play each year, and this year they did the ABCs of the Cherokee Indians. And so each one of the students had a part, and they passed the mic all the way through, and they recited their part about the Cherokee Indians and how each letter went with something with the Cherokee Indians. And on the right is one of the booths, which was with our FFA, our Future Farmers of America. They had a booth where they had actually built different items and sold there at the Indian Summer Festival. And one of the great things about the Indian Summer Festival, if you don't know, it is put on by the sports club, but the sports club is not just about sports, it's about students. And so all of their proceeds go to support Woody Gap School, scholarships, and really anything that Woody Gap School needs. I mean, it's awesome. We were looking at it, they're already starting in the planning stages for next year. So, come out, and it's just a wonderful 2 days, even when it's cold and rainy. So the next weekend, our Band of Steel performed in the Sorghum Festival Parade, and then from there, they actually went down to Fort Sorghum and performed there also. They had people dancing out with them while they were playing. So the kids love it. The kids are awesome. And for them to come back and say, they were dancing, Miss Reynolds, they were dancing. So, and they really, really enjoy doing that. They enjoy performing. Also, our elementary school students went to Hillcrest Orchard in LJ. They got to milk a cow. They got to learn about all the different things that go into that orchard and, the different animals. And one of them came back and said her pig won the pig race. So she was happy that her pig won the pig race. So it's a great opportunity for these students to learn all about the different cultures and the different things that go on in our area. Our Thanksgiving lunch was at the beginning of the month, and with Woody Gap, we have about 62 students. We had 40 parents and guests come to join us for lunch. So with all of our students, we served a little over 100 students, or 100 people, excuse me. And so, but they loved it. They loved being able to come back into the school and to to be able to socialize with all of them. And it was really neat. Some of the students whose parents didn't come, they just gravitated with the other parents. So we had some parents that had not only their kids, but had all the friends right there too. So it made it more of a true community event. Also, we had a Veterans Day program on Friday the 11th also. And ours was we worked with the Gaddistown Homemakers. They were wanting to do a Veterans Day ceremony, and we were too, so we thought, why not work together? So we actually did it at the community center, and the Gaddistown Homemakers fed the veterans lunch and apple pie, of course. And then our Band of Steel played God Bless America. They played all of the different songs that go with the different branches. And then our student council president and another member did a speech too about what Veterans Day means. And so it was really great. It was a great community event. And they're talking about what we can do next year to make it even better for our veterans and for the community.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
A lot of fun. Okay, next item on our agenda is Union County Elementary School Facilities Phase Out Resolution. Dr. Murphy?
Yes, Mr. Chair. The resolution that you have is simply to phase out the two buildings that we have at the elementary school so that we can place the need for a new elementary school on our 5-year facilities plan that we will begin developing. Actually, we're already in the process of developing it. And that will be coming for you early spring. I think we're supposed to hold our facilities review from the DOE in late January or early February, something like that. So once that DOE review team goes through their process with us, then it would be coming for you to sign off on the 5-year facilities plan. But this is just a step to get that moving in the right direction.
Okay, and just to be on the safe side, that 1603 is the Union County Elementary Facility, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just want to make sure of that.
Those are the correct numbers on this one, yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments, Dr. Murray? Okay. We'll move along to the action items, which is the next item on our agenda, and it's the principal's quarterly reports. Mr. Hill?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The board should have received all the principal's quarterly reports in the packets. And we have all the principals here with the exception of Mr. Bavero, but Ms. Bundy or Ms. Hush can probably answer any questions you might have. Just want to see if there were any questions about the principal's quarterly reports.
I have a question about the receipts and transfers that are made, it looks like at each school. Is that the yearly amount that we're given to each, so the start of the fiscal year, then that's the one time?
Yes, and they fill it in and then they transfer it to the various securities where it needs to go.
Okay. I'd also like to say to the principals, I very much appreciated the presentation that you guys did and the time and the effort that you put into that. It's extremely helpful for us to see what's going on, and it's not lost on us that takes your time and your effort, and I appreciate that.
And I appreciate what you do. It's impressive what you're doing and what your students are doing. Couldn't be more proud.
Okay, so if we've all reviewed the principal's quarterly reports, Chair will now entertain a motion to accept the quarterly reports as submitted.
I'll make the motion, we approve the quarterly reports as submitted.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the financial report for September 2022. Ms. Bundy?
In the package, you have your September report, financial report. Does anyone have any questions on the report?
questions or comments for the financial report from Ms. Bundy? Being said, the chair will now entertain a motion to accept the financial report for September 2022 as submitted.
I'll make a motion that we accept the financial report as submitted for September.
I'll second. Thank you. All in favor? Unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the Union County Elementary School facilities phase-out resolution that Dr. Murphy just spoke of. Any questions or comments before we bring that to the vote? Okay. Chair will now entertain a motion to accept the Union County Elementary School facilities phase-out resolution.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Unanimous. Next item on our agenda is the personnel recommendations. Ms. Setzer?
Yes, sir. You should have in your packet the personnel recommendations. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you.
The substitute nurse position, is that system-wide or specific school?
It is,
So it's
system-wide.
longer.
It is, wherever the need might be.
That's good.
Looks good.
Board have any more questions or comments for Ms. Setzer?
And the community coaches for which school?
Rest. Yes.
Okay. Chair will now entertain a motion to accept the personnel recommendations as submitted.
I'll make the motion, we approve the personnel recommendations as submitted.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor? Unanimous. Next item on our agenda is the public comment. Dr. Murphy?
Yes, sir. We have 5 individuals who have met the requirements to speak in public comment this morning, or excuse me, this evening. I will read the following statements and then I will turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Members of the public conduct themselves in a respectful manner that is not disruptive to the conduct of the board's business. Signs, flags, and banners related to political affiliations or topics of a divisive nature are prohibited inside the board meeting room. Each member of the public participating in public comment will be given no more than 3 minutes to speak and shall conclude all comments when their 3 minutes have expired. The board or its chair may limit further the total time allocated for public participation, as well as further limit the length of individual comments during public participation at its discretion for the purpose of the efficient operation of the business of the meeting. Only residents of the school district, representatives of business or organizations located in the district, parents or guardians of the students attend the schools of the district, or school system employees may address the board during public participation. No individual or group will be retaliated against in any manner whatsoever for speaking during public participation. The board requests that any group or organization appoint a single representative to address the board. All speakers shall address the board by first stating their name, address, and identify the particular reason or subject matter of comment after the board chair recognizes them and before providing their public comment. All remarks shall be made to the board as a body and addressed through the chair. Remarks shall not be addressed to individual board members. Issues involving individual employees or individual students and pending litigations are not subject for public participation. Where appropriate, the public is urged to follow other resolution processes set forth in board policy or available at individual schools, where those processes are clearly designed to address the issue to be raised. Speakers are asked to keep their remarks civil. The use of obscene, profane, vulgar, physically threatening, or abusive remarks will not be allowed. Loud and boisterous conduct or comments by speakers or members of the audience are not allowed. Neither the board nor the superintendent will respond to comments made by the speaker during public participation unless a member of the board chooses to ask a question. Speakers should remain at the podium while answering questions. The board will take comments under consideration and develop written responses if deemed appropriate. I apologize for my stumbling. I forgot my glasses at home.
Thank you, sir. That being said, first speaker that we have now is Vincent Peterson. Mr. Peterson, the podium is yours.
My name is Vince Peterson. I live at 307 Odom Road here in Blairsville. At the board meeting in October, a presentation was made containing some comments that I believe need response. It was stated that, quote, folks in the state of Georgia film public governmental institutions and organizations to create some kind of issues and obtain some kind of YouTube rights and get sponsorship money. This implies that videotaping the board meeting is a bad thing. Now, under Georgia Code 50-14-1, meetings to be open to the public, paragraph C, visual and sound recording during meetings shall be permitted. The school board meetings of Union County are videoed under this law and posted to YouTube. The videos are unedited and there is no commentary. The videos only show exactly what occurred at the meeting. There is no creating of any kind of issues. This allows persons who are unable to attend the meeting to see the complete meeting online just as though they attended the meeting. This is a public service and should be applauded rather than indicated as being a bad thing. Further, it was stated that some people might not understand that these meetings are actually a public meeting between the superintendent and the board that is open to the public. And further stated that some people might not understand how meetings work. I want to assure the board that I understand how the board meetings work. They are designed to conduct business, and that while the public attends the meeting, they have no place in the meeting beyond the public comments agenda item. Okay. I have previously said that little, if any, information flows from the board to the public during these meetings. Thus, we the people are reduced to petitioning for meetings with board members where a dialogue can be established, where questions can be asked and answers given. Finally, the graduation rate of 91.1% was referred to. This is a positive thing, but does it mean that our children are well educated? Based on test results for the state of Georgia, less than half of our graduates read or perform mathematics at a proficient level. Nationally, over 1/3 of college entrants must take remedial classes in reading and mathematics before they can do college work. This is because the high school diploma today says basically that the students have attended 4 years and not been educated.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. The next speaker that has the floor will be Mr. Miller Blanchard.
My name is Zed Blanchard. My address is 897 Wilmar Circle in Ivyville. I'm speaking for myself and as a Union County taxpayer. I've complained at 2 previous meetings and offered solutions in my last 182nd presentation. That's branded me as a complainer or a crank. I'd like to explain why I complain. I started working with youth as a Boy Scout camp counselor in 1950, then as an assistant scoutmaster when I was in the service, and scoutmaster thereafter into the 70s. There was a break when I raised my boys and ran a part-time business. I volunteered in our local scout troop for 8 years, beginning in 1999, then trained for medical first responder for several years with local folks, and as I said previously, instructed at North Georgia Tech for 2 years, and mentored the high school medical students for 6 years at our freak link. The deterioration in life skills, work ethic, demeanor, and so forth between the 50s and now is appalling and disheartening. I work with young folks because I think I have something to offer. And I see they desperately need it, and I care. Operative word, care. One of the reasons that my contract with North Georgia Tech was not renewed is because I cared for the students and not the bottom line. I don't care so much about the squatter tax money. I just want our young folks to get the education they need and aren't getting. In closing, I'd like to add to the previous speaker's comment about petitioning the school board for redress. Quite frankly, it has gone beyond that, is now a lawsuit in Superior Court petitioning for an injunction for violation of the Georgia Constitution's provisions for rights of persons. Please understand that this is not a slight against our school system. This is a good school system, you just heard that. But deteriorating academic achievement is endemic across America, as are the lawsuits. The plaintiffs in the Forsyth lawsuit are appropriately named mama bears. It's the mothers and parents of students that are the activists. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for the time, Mr. Blanchard. Next speaker will be Nathan Dean. Podium is yours.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful, wonderful presentations. My name is Nathan Dean. I live at 53 Trade Drive, just south of town. Love to have any of you over for a chat or a visit. Whether you work in homeschool, private school, or government school, your work is important because our children are important. Educating them, developing them is so important. And along those lines, my wife and I brought our 4 children to the last board meeting so they could experience how representative government works. Some of the things we experienced were inspiring, some of them concerning. The fact that you institutionally do not communicate with people that you serve is dehumanizing to you and me. We should talk. Not only is this wrong, but no relationship is made better by having a policy of refusing dialogue. Not in marriage, not in parenting, not in friendship, not in representative government. This policy diminishes all of us. We should dialogue, talk. This might sound silly, but the no public restrooms sign, who is that for? Who is allowed, who isn't? And that matters to me because I had 4 kids and some of them needed to use the restroom. So is there some people that are allowed to do that and some people aren't allowed to use? Is there a reason for it? I don't know, because we're not talking, I guess. One of my little guys had to run out and just pee on the grass because he had to go so bad. So if there's a reason for it, great. If not, it's just unkind and unhospitable. Lastly, I would like to ask how we can know how our local government schools are performing. This is a little redundant, I guess, based on some other comments. How we're doing academically. I understand that the Union County schools have high rankings among other schools in Georgia, but I'm not sure what that means in terms of real academics. If we look at the most recent National Assessment of Educational Progress testing for the state of Georgia, 68% of Georgia 4th grade students scored below proficient in reading, and 67% scored below proficient in math. These proficiency scores only declined on the 8th grade test. Knowing our ranking in this admittedly failing state educational system isn't informative, but knowing the actual academic data for our local system would be, and I'm assuming it's something to brag about. I hope that it is. Can you provide our local National Assessment of Education progress scores to our community? Can you make it an easy to find part of the UCS website and keep it updated? How else are we to know how our local government schools and the majority of our children are doing academically? George Washington said that government is like fire. It is dangerous, a dangerous servant, a terrible master. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Dean. Thank you for your time. Next speaker will be Dr. Mark Stallings. Podium is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hunter. I greatly appreciate it. Really do. I'm very retired. I'm very relaxed. I'm thinking that it's a good time to be retired.
Yes.
I worked for a long time in public schools. I was just a simple Georgia country boy, and I was raised in a small farm in middle Georgia. And eventually, I went to my family. My father moved to Eaton, and we had a good school there. And that school offered me opportunity. That school allowed me to do far more than I ever could have. I never dreamed in my life that I would have earned a PhD. But I did. And I never dreamed that I'd go to Australia and visit their schools. I never dreamed I'd go to Russia and visit their schools, or Germany and visit their schools. I never dreamed I'd literally visit hundreds of schools in the United States. All over, talking to teachers and parents and administrators. It's been an incredible, incredible life. And as I ended up here at 72, I'm finishing it off, I say, you know, this has been a hoot. This has been an incredible experience. But I want to tell you something very seriously, and you really need to think about this and hold it dear to your heart. Every school system I visited always had a bright spot. They had a spot that was bright. They really bragged on it. I went to many shows where people showed what they had done and how proud they were of it. And they didn't show us everything. But here tonight, you've seen everything. You have a balanced school. You have a school that genuinely is focusing on success for all your students. It's a good school, guys. Don't forget that.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time. Next speaker, Alexis Moore. Podium is yours, ma'am.
I'm going to talk fast, bear with me. I want to begin by reminding everyone in this room that we're all human beings, children of God created in His image as equals. And when we stop seeing each other in this way, we create an us versus them scenario in which winning over adversaries is the ultimate goal. And this is a very unchristian approach to take toward your fellow man. If you're no longer seeing the humanity in your fellow neighbor, you are no longer acting from the highest version of yourself, and all actions taken from there cannot ever create goodness. Second, I want to remind everyone of the severe trauma we faced as a nation in 2020 and over the years leading up to it. It wasn't until then that most of us even realized that local government existed. I know it seems like a coordinated effort, all of us showing up and asking questions all of a sudden, but it's not coordinated at all. It's simply the timing of it all. And it's not a negative. If you all are truly sincere in your claims to represent us, then hearing what we have to say would logically be a thing that would be invited, not condemned and ridiculed. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. And in fact, the behavior of teachers in this very room has been alarming. My first meeting here, I couldn't hear. The chairman kindly invited me to sit up front the next time. The next month, I found an open seat at a front table occupied by a teacher's purse. I sat on the floor for a while before asking her from the floor if I could have the seat. She glared at me with contempt without speaking for at least 2 very long minutes. I asked if she was okay and if the seat was already taken, and she very slowly removed the bag without breaking her glare and without ever speaking a word to me. It was the most disturbing human interaction I've ever experienced. And the next month, the teacher staged a walkout before the citizens spoke. And it's all just so ugly, and it's a sign of something even uglier. It's a sign that we've all forgotten what it is to actually be human beings. If you condemn and judge others without even asking them a question, you are creating with the building blocks of destruction and hate, not with creation and love. And I, as a homeschooling mother, would love to trust the schools where I live. I simply cannot trust people building from that place. It's all just so ugly. So each of us showing up here want the same thing. We want to trust, we want to ensure that goodness is being created in this county for our children, and that's all. Last month, the superintendent spoke against citizens trying to be part of their local governments, and that feels like taxation without representation and goes against any oath of office. But also, if you're trying to create an us versus them scenario, it's an excellent way to do it. But also, it's belittling to us as individual human beings. He condemned people videoing, said that it's for sensationalism, but no one's ever asked me why I film. I film so those that can't attend can watch the meetings at home, because I know that information is crucial to unburden those living in fear. Each of us has our own individual purpose and motivation, and that's exactly how God created us, so that we can work in harmony to create a larger, more cohesive world together. I hope that some of you give this some consideration and begin to apply that consideration to your judgments and actions towards your fellow man in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Ms. Moore. Mr. Hill, is there anything else we need to discuss before this meeting's over?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
That being said, Chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Make a motion?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Unanimous.